up, guys?
What's up?
Dave, welcome to our spot in Chicago. How do you like the digs?
It's huge. Great depth of field on the cameras. It really does, it's a huge space. Love the couches.
Who is this person? Who the hell is this guy?
That's fair.
Let people know who the
That's fair.
Why did you want to do this? Did you miss the wins and losses? Is that what it comes down to?
Yeah, I'm super competitive and you gotta love the grind. I think you gotta be a little crazy too, man.
What up, fellas? We got a new host in the house, Dave DuFour, my buddy over at the NBA Daily Podcast, filling in for Robert Mays while he is holding things down at the Super Bowl. We appreciate you pinch hitting. Just had to get another sports reference in there.
That's right.
Of course. But welcome to the show.
Thank you. QB2.
QB2, well done. Guys, we've got the Super Bowl, we've got the Olympics, we've got the NBA trade deadline. We're gonna cover it all. First, we're gonna talk a little bit about basketball, break down the NBA trade deadline, everything that happened this week, the trades that didn't happen this week, and what it means for the season's playoff race. Then we're gonna shift gears to the Olympics. We're gonna give you guys a handy cheat sheet for all the things that you should be watching, including this fascinating family out of Vermont that has been dominating alpine skiing for generations, y'all. We're gonna get into it. And then we're gonna go for our main story. There is a football game that's happening this weekend that's kind of big. Just a little bit.
It's
not,
Poquito.
Yeah, right. I'm talking about the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're talking about the Super Bowl. We're gonna talk to Robert, who is out in San Francisco. He came back to my corner of the country. He's out in the Bay. He's gonna break down the matchup, gonna get the storylines, make sure that we know what's going on. And he's gonna have a special interview with QB Matt Ryan, former broadcaster and current president of the Atlanta Falcons. Woo! I got one question. Y'all ready? Are y'all ready?
Let's go.
Let's have fun.
Let's go. All right, y'all, the NBA trade deadline just wrapped up and it was busy. There was a lot of moves made over the course of a few days and a lot of players traded and a lot of money saved. And of course, in order to have this conversation, we've got a special guest in the house. Senior NBA writer Joe Vardon is joining us.
What up, Joe?
Thank you so much for being here, Joe.
I know I was busy.
Yeah, I bet. Catching up and trying to keep track of everything. So a lot happened this week. I want to talk a little bit about the teams that came out on top, who is going to probably regret some decisions, and then teams that missed their opportunity. So Joe, where do you want to start?
Well, I live in Cleveland.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah, so I think we should start there. The Cavs, they trade one of the cornerstones of their franchise, 26 years old, Darius Garland, someone they drafted in 2019. They sent him to the Clippers for an 11-time All-Star in James Harden. James is 36. His arrival in Cleveland represents a little bit of a turning point for the franchise. They have gone from a perpetual long grind, wide open window for potential contention to let's win right now.
Yeah, it definitely felt like it was a little bit of an all buy-in. And Dave, I mean, this is an interesting move for James Harden. He's been moved quite a few times over the course of his career, looking for the opportunity to get a championship. Do we think that this is the opportunity now?
I think it's his best chance this season. James Harden is really good at finding situations that fit him. Not only did he find a place that had a young player that would be appealing to the Clippers that he could replace, and he's put himself on a team that has as good a chance as anyone now of coming out of the East because the East is so soft. I think it's a win for James Harden over everybody else involved. James Harden won.
If you go back to the Clippers, though, they just traded James Harden. Now they trade Zubats. That's two of their three best players. Yeah. The Clippers were also a team that was the hottest team in the NBA over a period of 6 weeks. None of these things lead to blowing it up. And that's kind of what happened this week. So it was a strange week for the Clippers.
Yeah, Darius Garland going to the Clippers, though, does feel like they're trying to find a piece for the future. That team was old.
Yes.
Right? I mean, we know the oldest team in the league. And so being able to bring in someone that we know has been able to be a great floor setter, be a young piece for Cleveland, just hasn't been able to stay on the floor because of his foot injury.
Yes.
Hopefully, with a little bit of time, he'll be able to be the future of that franchise. But a team we were not expecting to be buyers, the Jazz, getting Jaren Jackson Jr. from the Memphis Grizzlies. And that also makes me think of blowing a team up and potentially
Right.
what the Grizzlies are doing, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like they're going to do a full reset. They just got 3 more first-round picks for Jaren Jackson. A clear path to tank this season because they don't have anyone. And Ja Morant really is the pivot point here that has forced this on them, Joe.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that Ja, when he came into the league, the hopes were that he would lead that franchise for a decade or more, win a championship, get to a finals. In the last 6 to 8 months, there came a realization on the Grizzlies' part that this group wasn't it. Trading Jaren for that kind of haul is the next step. Maybe it was a little surprising. You wondered if they were going to build around him. But no, so he's gone, and the next piece, of course, is to move on from Ja. It didn't happen at the trade deadline now. It'll be interesting to see what they get for him this summer.
I love the moves, and I think I'm in the minority with that because in Memphis, there's every city's got a culture that they hope to aspire to. So why mess around with, a player who in a defensive player of the year a couple years ago, but a guy who seems like for whatever reason isn't offensively utilized the way that he should be with a guy like Ja Morant. And then the Ja Morant situation, I mean, you look at his analytics, his numbers, he's not the same player.
Right.
And for whatever reason, his game hasn't matured to where he can kind of offset some of those deficiencies. So I like teams who don't want to stay on that treadmill of mediocrity and mess around and never get a pick high enough to be a foundational tentpole and also never be really bad enough to really aspire or execute any kind of blueprint. So I'm not as upset with the Memphis stuff as seemingly a lot of people are.
And also, we haven't talked about it yet. Another massive name, Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Going to the Wizards.
This whole Luka trade continues to confuse and disappoint and perplex. So Anthony Davis ends up in Washington. Washington had already kind of started this whole trade deadline situation by getting Trae Young from the Atlanta Hawks. I've heard people say, oh, this is great for the Wizards. They're now trying to, be in the mix in the East. And I'm like, hold on. Do these players actually play? Do they suit up?
This is definitely not a move for this year.
I agree.
That team is, don't hold me to this, but there's something like 15-36. They have no chance for this year.
Yeah, right.
But when you think about next year, they were able to get Trae Young for almost nothing. And then they were able to acquire Anthony Davis for a couple of first-round picks. So the Wizards are going to be competitive next year, and they haven't been in a while. Are they a contender? No, but we'll see how this goes. And if Trae gets back to the old Trae Young and Davis stays healthy, it could be an exciting season.
That's going to be a lethal combo. Jason, though, this is the closing of the whole Luka trade in Dallas. What does this mean for Cooper Flagg and the future of that franchise?
Listen, Cooper Flagg did something that hasn't been done since Allen Iverson over his last 4 games, scoring 150 points.
Yeah.
So any way that you want to feel about the Luka Doncic, split or divorce, they've got a bona fide young star on their team.
Well, we got to think about Jonathan Kuminga. And Jonathan Kuminga.
Free Jonathan.
Finally.
The story's over.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a saga closing in Dallas. Another saga closes in the Bay. Golden State trades Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield to the Atlanta Hawks. This is a player that over 5 years, 21 years old, you're seeing all this untapped potential, and he's just not getting consistent opportunities in the Bay. On the other side of this, they get Kristaps Porzingis. Bay gets Kristaps Porzingis, this pairing of Steph Curry with KP. Who wins in this situation?
I do hope that Jonathan Kuminga reaches the potential that people say that he has. I was taken aback by a relative, what I felt was a lack of respect for that organization. The Warriors were, and still are, it's the last gasp of it, but it's a dynasty. It's a dynasty that was set up by Steph Curry and Draymond and Clay and even Durant. And it felt to me like Kuminga, he got there and didn't want to earn his way into that dynasty.
I'm not sure if that's fair necessarily. I mean, when you're a high lottery pick like he was, there's a certain amount of entitlement there that I think does come along with it. It's like, I have this amount of talent. I'm in practice every day. And the truth is, he did perform pretty well when he had consistent playing time. But the fit was poor from the draft choice. He was not a player that Steve Kerr was ever going to warm up to. He was not a player that was going to fit with Steph Curry and what he does. And everything in Golden State revolves around the son that is Steph Curry. And if you can't figure that out, there's no place for you there.
I want to get to Giannis. This whole conversation around trade deadline had been around the domino that is Giannis Antetokounmpo. You could see the tea leaves, or you could read the tea leaves, that Giannis didn't want to be in Milwaukee anymore, apparently.
Yes.
But he kept saying that's not what he's asking for. And this in-between dance that we all in the NBA covering it, the entire league, all the GMs kept listening to, and then trade deadline happens, and on the day of, it is announced, Giannis is not going anywhere. That means summer is something to live for?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course. We would be sorely mistaken if at any point we felt that or said that the smoke and the rumors weren't coming from Giannis's side.
Yeah.
Milwaukee knows what happens typically when you lose a generational talent before the contract is up, or even when the contract is up. They know what that's like. So this was a Giannis situation. I know what he has said publicly. He was trying to thread the needle there. Giannis wants to go somewhere where he feels like he can win. And that is okay. I think that the Bucks are going to have a better opportunity to get a return for him this summer.
I think Giannis Antetokounmpo had the worst trade deadline of any entity in the NBA because all the things that were said and half said and the passive aggressive nature and I'm not going anywhere. Well, dude, you said that you don't control what your agents say. You sure do. Everybody who's got representation controls what the representation says. And on top of it, you already brought this city a championship. Like, be a star. Like, we see stars in the end. Like, this is what happens when the dad jokes and the happy-go-lucky nature that we ascribe to somebody, they aren't really living it the entire time. Nobody gets upset when a star says, I don't have anything that I can do here anymore.
I look at it from the Bucks perspective, and they're still trying to sell Giannis on staying. All right? And that would be me. I'd be playing babyface outside of his house, begging and pleading. Please stay.
He's already giving you everything you need,
It doesn't matter because Giannis Antetokounmpos don't grow on trees.
Yeah.
You cannot just find those guys.
It takes a certain amount of intestinal fortitude.
That's what I'm saying.
To force your way out when you are under contract.
And we're finding out he's not about that life.
James Harden.
Well, yeah,
James can do it. Kyrie can do it. Kawhi can do it.
Kawhi did,
AD did it.
Yeah.
But this is a small group.
And guess what? Giannis saw how every single one of those players was demonized and villainized, and he was like, not me. I got too many deals running on this right now. Well, thank you, Joe, for coming down and breaking all the trade deadline for us and giving us a little bit of context, a little background. We had a great conversation. I love when we talk to this.
Thank you, Joe.
Thrilled to be here.
Guys, the 2026 Milan Olympics are finally here. No more counting down the days. Amen?
Yes.
Amen.
I've been waiting for it.
So the world's greatest athletes are now about to take the stage, and it is a lot to take in. Lucky for us, we've got Jordy Fee-Platt here with us to give us the breakdown, the lay of the land of everything that's going on in Milan. Thanks for joining us, Jordy.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Okay.
Jordy, you are a trending writer for us. So what is that job like? What does it entail?
Yeah, it's kind of looking for things that aren't happening in game action, right? Things that people are talking about on social media, some sports business ideas that maybe aren't getting covered.
I like it. And so you recently did the cheat sheet for the Olympics.
I'm familiar with like Lindsey Vonn
Yeah.
and Chloe Kim and some other names. I need this cheat sheet. I want to be able to talk my talk, or I want to be able to put on like I know what the hell I'm doing. So hit me to who I need to know, the people, the persons that are going to make this event so spectacular.
I think it starts with women's hockey. That's a really interesting topic. Layla Edwards, a two-time national champion at Wisconsin. She's super young. She was the youngest World Championship MVP in 2024. She's also the first Black woman to be on the senior women's hockey team for the U.S. So a
Happy
super
Black
exciting young
History
talent.
Month.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right. And Hillary Knight on the other side, kind of the elder statesman. This is her 5th Olympics, the only hockey player to do that in men's or women's. She's looking for her 5th Olympic medal. And her girlfriend, Brittany Bowe, is actually in Italy as well. She'll be competing in her 4th consecutive Olympics in speed skating. She's really thought of as the best women's hockey player of all time.
That's a super
She's
dope
kind of-
couple's vacation too, by the way.
In
Let's go to the
Milan, right?
Olympics in Italy and both compete. by the way.
Almost right down the road.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
that they've always there's been the Hillary Knight, Diana Taurasi comparison and just
Okay.
dominance in their respective sports for so long.
In the figure skating world, Ilya Malinin is certainly a fun one. He's known as the quad god, the only figure skater
I'm in.
to complete a quadruple axel in competition.
I thought the guy was weightlifting. but
Right.
That's a summer
nothing
game.
to do
So.
with quads. Got it.
That's right.
Anybody who answers to anything God, I want to see it. I want to know.
He's just 20 years old.
Wow.
His first Olympics, but he's already won 9 gold medals in U.S. and international competition. So he's a gold medal favorite. It should be a lot of fun to watch. It's something that we've never seen before in the Olympics. I mean, the quad god, like you said, it's a darn good nickname.
I can only hit a triple.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about some of these names that are competing in the skiing category, because that's where I'm starting to get a little bit more excited about that category.
Yeah, so Alex Hall is an interesting one. He grew up in Switzerland, kind of taught himself how to ski. He had professor parents and they had a hill in the backyard, and that's kind of where he learned. That's under 300 miles from where they're having the Olympic venue in Milan. So he's got kind of that Alps experience to go into it, which I think should be fun. And he's defending his gold medal in the slopestyle event in 2022 at Beijing. Wow.
This actually makes me think of a story you did or talking about in the piece about Ryan Cochran-Siegle.
Yeah.
Speaking of hills in your backyard, this Cochran family literally bought a house generations ago, just because there was a hill that they could set up their own ski situation. Break this down, because this is insane how much they've been dominant in this family.
Yeah, so Ryan's grandparents, Mickey and Ginny Cochran, bought a house, like you said, and Mickey wanted to have a hill in the backyard so that his kids could learn how to ski. And it was all about being fun. You know, we think about these types of sports, they're super competitive, really cutthroat, and Mickey never wanted it to be that way for his kids. He set up, with his engineering background, a rope tow and kind of this entire skiing setup. They had lights on the house so they could go out after school and start skiing. Just an amazing story. And it turned into 4 Olympians. They all competed on the
Crazy.
U.S.
Amazing.
national ski
Family
team.
business.
And one of his...
In the backyard.
Yeah, just in the backyard.
And that hill that they bought outside their house, it's now like a fully running ski area, right?
Yeah, that's right. They bought some more land, expanded it, and they've turned it into this ski area to make it kind of accessible for local kids. They don't turn anybody away. Skiing is obviously incredibly expensive, but their whole idea is to try to make it fun and to make it convenient so everyone can get involved.
Okay, Jordy, break down this family tree, because this is crazy how much they've been dominant.
Yeah, so Ryan's grandparents, Mickey and Ginny, and they basically taught their 4 children how to ski on the hill outside of their house. His daughter, Barbara Ann Cochran, was a gold medalist in 1972. Those 4 kids had 10 children in total. They produced 6 members of the U.S. national ski team. So it's just a remarkable story, an incredible tradition of all these folks with that Cochran name really holding on to that history.
So Ryan is the latest Cochran.
Right.
Tell us about him. What's he like?
You know, he grew up in this incredible environment. He saw older cousins that really inspired him skiing. He started getting on skis when he was 2 years old. He was watching VHS tapes of his older relatives who were competing in those Olympic Games. And so he kind of grew up in it. He was used to it, and he turned it into an amazing career. His mom was a single mother working as a teacher. He had to turn down a lot of the prestigious skiing events because they couldn't afford it. But because of that fun mentality that he had, learning through that Cochran way, as they call it, he was able to find his way to an incredible career. Had a World Cup victory in 2020, then a really dangerous crash. He nearly lost his life, nearly lost his career in 2021. And a year later, he comes back and finishes with the silver medal in the Super G, and he's going back to Milan for one more opportunity. He's talked about how he just loves to have fun skiing. He kind of is a little bit reckless, but that's also what makes him really successful. It makes his family very stressed out, but it is what makes him very successful.
Yeah.
When you see those crashes, like it feels like everything is going to end in that way.
Catastrophic.
Yeah.
Catastrophic. Like
Yeah.
you are seconds away from being forever paraplegic in a wheelchair or potentially your death. And he's kind of a speed demon. Like he
Yes.
lives for this stuff. So it's kind of crazy that he's doing that. But I do love the fact that this family centers fun in the middle of all this. And again, from a perspective of a basketball mind, like it does feel like those that have a little bit of swag and sauce to their game is because they're having a little bit more fun.
Right.
And you wonder, is that actually the secret ingredient to being more successful when you're not so trained, I guess, in like specified in your sport, and you're just having fun? Like, is that the secret ingredient?
Well, I think joy is infectious, especially in a team sport environment. You know, if you have like a guy like Steph Curry makes me giggle when I watch it play, right? You can't watch him without a smile coming on your face. And my background as a basketball coach, you lead with that joy, right? I want to make this fun. And then you collaborate. We're all in it together if we're smiling and we're laughing and we're having a good time. So I do think the joy behind sports is a driving force. It's way better than any financial motivation. No kid picks up a basketball or a football or a baseball bat or puts on a pair of skis when they're 5 years old thinking about, I'm going to be rich one day.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun. Let's play.
Yeah, the sports industrial complex has definitely ruined a lot of the innocence of a lot of these things, and that's why the Olympics seem so pure, because it's amateurs, but you know they're also beholden to sponsors and branding deals.
Working at Home Depot.
Yeah, exactly.
There's pressure for these people, even if their parents say, "Oh no, they can do whatever they want." I mean, come on.
Also,
You know,
there's tremendous advantage because you're already in the system. The NBA is kind of like this, you know, second generation, third generation players. The scouts know who you are because your dad knows the scouts.
You know how to be a pro.
You know how to be a pro. Steph Curry is the greatest shooter to ever touch a basketball because he grew up shooting in arenas.
Yeah.
And that's so different than the gym that we grew up in.
Yeah, I mean, the Cochran family, they have their own private, I mean, it's not private, it's actually open to the public.
Right.
But everyone in the family works on that hill, ensuring that people have access to being able to ski, being able to learn to ski. The fact that Barbara, gold medalist Barbara, is teaching these little kids how to ski is crazy. Like, that's so dope.
And it's also based on having fun with it. You know,
Yeah.
skiing is so expensive, as are many of these Olympic sports, but it's about making it accessible to everybody. And as a result, over the last quarter century, there's been at least one person who learned how to ski from the Cochran ski area that's competed in the Olympics. So they've really built this incredible.
I just have chills. That's so great. Like,
It's like
that is
the final,
a legacy.
final level before you go and beat the game, right? You got to go there, right?
But you should see the videos of this hill. I mean, it is not tall, right? But it's just building those foundational principles that lead you to
You
success.
think if I went, I've never been skiing.
I haven't either personally.
I think if I went, I can, you know, set my sights on the tour.
Look,
Jason, just
French
think-
fry,
right, French fries,
pizza.
pizza.
French fry, pizza.
There you go. See, we know.
We would have a tough time. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
You know what I'm saying? I got JFP on my side.
We'll help them. At the end of the day, it is all about having fun, going out there, having
It
a good
is.
time. And it's going to be a good time watching these guys in the Olympics. So thank you for breaking down, giving us that cheat sheet, Jordy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate you.
Y'all, Super Bowl weekend is here.
Finally, yeah.
Yeah, right? You can feel it everywhere. There's the hype, the predictions, the parties. We've been waiting for this all season long, and I'm so excited. We're going to talk about it because we have Robert Mays here live via satellite. Actually, he's in the Bay, and he's going to tell us everything that's going on. So what up, Robert?
Good to see you guys. I'm missing you over there.
What's up, Robert? This chair is getting extremely comfortable over here, buddy.
I hope it's not too comfortable. I'll be back next week, so you can enjoy it for a little bit longer. But again, don't get too comfortable.
All right, so I'm always interested in you getting the lay of the land. What's the vibes like? What are people saying? What are people doing? What are the parties like? How's everyone feeling about this Super Bowl 60?
Vibes are good. It's Super Bowl week. It's a beautiful city. I think everyone's really enjoyed being here. Everyone I know has had a fantastic dinner in Chinatown over the last 3 or 4 days. And so it's been great. Really looking forward to the weekend. I've really enjoyed being up here again.
You're on Radio Row. What is that?
I think the best way to explain it, the setup itself, there's just 100 different booths of different outlets. And so you have podcasts, you have radio stations, you have local TV stations. Everyone's doing their own little thing. Kind of players are cycling in and out. And it's a little bit chaotic. It's a hodgepodge of NFL players, weird celebrities, people hawking stuff. And, You get used to it when you've done it a few times, but if you've never seen it before, I could understand where it would feel a little bit strange.
We heard you had a chance to sit down with former NFL MVP and current president of football operations for the Falcons, Matt Ryan. Let's check it out.
We are here with the Atlanta Falcons president of football, Matt Ryan,
Still
which is
getting
the
used
first
to it.
time I've said that.
Yes, still getting used to it.
How's it been so far?
It's been great. I think almost 4 weeks. 4 weeks coming up on Saturday, so it's been a busy stretch, hitting the ground running, but excited about the future.
I want to talk about this game first before we dig into some of the Falcons stuff, because before you took this job, you were covering the league and watching the league all year. And so with Seattle specifically, when you've watched their defense and kind of watched what they've built, from a quarterback's perspective, what about Mike Macdonald and that crew just is a really difficult challenge at this point in terms of what they've built?
Well, I think it's the effort with which they play. The intensity, the effort, the physicality, running to the football, just really, really special with how they do it. They're a complete football team, and man, they really are. All three phases, special teams, been outstanding throughout the year. Offense, the run game has come on in the second half of the season. The explosive pass game has been there all year. Really, really good, sound football team in all three phases.
New England side, at what point during this season when you were watching them did you be like, okay, this is a team that maybe can make some noise? Because that was not an expectation coming into the year.
No, it's kind of a slow build throughout the entire season, but you saw the way Drake May was playing. I think that was, you expected it with Mike Vrabel coming in, just a really solid head coach and a guy that understands he's going to make his football team better. He's going to make the players that he have better. And you could see that they're playing sound football, good defensive football all year. But then you saw this growth and development of Drake May and then really explode onto the scene the second half of the season and jump into that MVP type category. And I think that probably around mid-November, I think we were all sitting there on the desks watching and being like, New England is for real. Like this, they play good defense. They've got enough explosive players on offense. They run the football pretty effectively, and they play hard. And I think it was about mid-November, everybody thought they were for real.
With Drake specifically, what about what he's been in his second season has impressed you?
I think the maturity would probably be the biggest thing. Coming out, athletic guy, physically, tough and could take off and run with the football. I think he's been really accurate. His downfield throwing, first half of the season, nobody was doing it better than he was, hitting on seemingly everything when they pushed the football down the field. So that was impressive. But I think the maturity to handle the success that they've had and not, he seems unfazed by it, in his disposition. So I've been really impressed with that.
The two quarterbacks in this game are at points in their careers that you had interesting touch points in your career, right? You had success early. You guys hit the ground running and you made the playoffs when you were a rookie. And then you had that bump 7-8 years into your career when you won the MVP. Where Sam Darnold is right now in his development, it feels like there's a light bulb that can go on for guys when you get to that point. There's like a convergence of your physical talent still being in your prime while also having the mental side of the game finally catch up to the way you want to play. And what does that feel like for a guy that is, because obviously his path to this point is different than yours was, but it still felt like you got a real boost during that point in your career. What does it feel like as a quarterback to get to that moment?
It's awesome, because I feel like you experience only counts if you can go out there and perform with all of that experience that you've learned. So when you get to that space of like, okay, I've been through this situation before and my physical skill set is still at its absolute best, I can make it happen. That's an awesome place to be at. And I think, I think for me, it really was like year 5 to 11 or 12 was that space of, man, I've got all of this good experience underneath and I've got all of this ability that I've always had and can do exactly what I want to do physically and know exactly what I want to do mentally. And for me, I think that produced the most consistent results throughout my career. And, I think Sam's at that space. He's gotten there in a different way, but I do feel like he's in that spot. Like you watch him throw on the run, you watch him get outside the pocket, you watch his accuracy, velocity, that is all there. But he also looks comfortable doing it, right? And that, I think, probably is the part you're talking about, that he's in the sweet spot right now, and he's got the right coaches around him. And I think that's been the case for the last 3 stops he's been, whether it was even San Francisco and learning in San Francisco before going to Minnesota, before
He'll tell
going
you
to
how
Seattle.
important that was. And it's you played in that system for that staff.
Yeah, and
so,
I think it opens your eyes to what the expectations are and maybe how you see things.
to Kevin Stefanski, who you guys just hired as the head coach of the Falcons, what about him and his resume and who he is in this moment made you think he was the right guy for the Falcons?
Well, I think a couple of things. I think the experience as a head coach, the good, the bad, all of it, makes him a better head coach moving forward. Like, you learn from the scars. We talk about Sam Darnold and why he's playing better. It's the good, the bad, the in the middle. And I think Kevin has all of that experience, and I think has learned from that. I think he's an excellent communicator, excellent leader, paints a clear vision for how he wants to play football, paints a clear vision for what the expectations are for the players, holds guys accountable. He's all of those things.
You guys are in such an interesting place because I think with a lot of teams that have new staffs, new GM, new president of football, you're almost in a rebuilding mode where you're starting from square one. This is a group that there's like a fully formed version of the team that was supposed to be ready to compete. And I think there's an argument that you can. Like, there's a lot of talent on the roster. So as you move into year one of a new regime, but you have the requisite amount of talent to be competitive, how do you square those two things?
We feel like we've got a team that we can compete with, but certainly add to. Right now, we've got to be smart about, the players that we can retain and the players we can't. And then we've got to do a great job in the talent acquisition periods of free agency and the draft to bring in the right people. But I think it comes down to that. I think it comes down to bringing in the right people that fit who we are as a building.
The last thing I'll ask you, just because this is a very new sort of role for you, why did you want to do this? Like, the CBS job feels like a nice situation.
Yeah, it was a
You're up
great-
there once a week.
It was a
like,
great
it's just-
job.
So, like, did you miss the wins and losses? Is that what it comes down to?
Yeah, and the ability to be a part of the organization I was a part of for so long. I think you got to be a little crazy too, man. Like, I think all of us are a little bit crazy to jump back into it.
I've heard about
so.
you on the golf course. I can imagine that you miss being a little bit competitive.
Yeah,
I've heard about it.
I am. I'm super competitive, and like one of the things I loved as a player is I loved the grind. I like the preparation portion of it. I like all of the grunt work that went into being successful, and I'm excited to jump back into that.
Awesome. Matt Ryan, sincerely appreciate the time. Always good to catch up with you, man.
Thank you, brother.
Good to see
Appreciate you.
Good stuff as always, man. Who do you think's going to win this game?
I think the Seahawks win. I think they've been the best team for a good chunk of this year. I think they had the best defense in the league. Their offense has really surprised a lot of people. Top to bottom, they're incredibly well coached. And I think that the Patriots just are in a different class of team. I think that there's a way they ugly the game up a little bit, New England, and keep it close. But I think Seattle's been the best team, and I think that they'll show everybody that they are the best team.
All right, who's going to be the MVP?
Safest bet is always the quarterback. I could see Sam Darnold having a decent game. He throws a couple touchdowns, 250 yards. Seahawks win by 10 points. It's usually the cleanest route. If I wanted to give you like a dark horse, I would say somebody like a Leonard Williams for Seattle's defense. I think that their defense could have a big enough game where they want to reward somebody on that side of the ball.
Well, appreciate you, Robert. As always, enjoy the game for us.
See you guys soon.
Dave's got paddles in his hands. He looks confident.
He does.
But does he really know what he's getting himself into? You know what time it is. There's no turning back now. That's because it's time for our segment that we like to call LFG. All right, you might think you might think it's that, but it's learning feels good.
Yes.
All right,
Sure.
the rules are simple.
That makes more sense for TV.
You wouldn't have been wrong with that guess, by the way. I give you a number, you tell me what sports fact it's connected to. All right, let's go. The number's 14. Is it A, the number of millions of dollars freestyle skier Eileen Gu makes per year from off-field endorsements, landing her in the top 10 list of highest paid female athletes? Is it B, how many seconds the lights were out when a power outage interrupted the mixed doubles curling competition inside the Cortina Curling Olympic Stadium on Wednesday, which, I was befuddled.
You were locked in.
I was shocked that happened for as long as it did. C, how many members of Finland's women's hockey team contracted norovirus, postponing their game against Canada?
Oh.
Feels like a HIPAA violation right there, but it's cool. Okay. Or D, the age U.S. snowboarder Maddie Shafrick was when she went pro before walking away from the sport for 10 years. So, 14.
14 years old. I know, I feel like it's D too.
Do you?
C is the Finland. You know what? I'm trusting my
Going
gut.
D? Trust in your instincts. The answer is D.
That's right.
Hey!
We did it!
Maddie Shaffrick. Shout out to Maddie. Was a snowboarding prodigy who turned pro at 14, but after years of injuries, mental health struggles, and mounting pressure from sponsors, she retired from the sport at 20, swearing she'd never touch a snowboard again. Shaffrick spent a year as a plumber before discovering healing through coaching young snowboarders. And in 2022, she joined the U.S. snowboarding team as an assistant coach, and 2 years later, at nearly 30, she made her comeback. She qualified for the 2026 Olympics at the age of 31, 11 years after swearing she'd never touch a snowboard again. Shout out to Maddie Shaffrick.
Wow.
That shows.
Imagine if Luka Doncic, who also went pro at 14, had retired at 20.
And become, well, I mean, shaped like a plumber.
Well, that is going to be it from us. Thank you to Dave DuFour for keeping Robert's seat warm while he was out in the Bay for us. Thanks to Jordy Fee-Platt and Joe Vardon for hanging out with us, breaking it down, not only in the NBA, but also the Olympics. Remember, you can find new episodes of The Athletic Show every Saturday on Fire TV, and you can head on over to theathletic.com for more of the world's best sports journalism. That's it. Enjoy your weekend and go Super Bowl!
Jazz hands.